Alright, I've probably given you some percent problems to do, and now we're going to look at some common percent problems that kind of show up in real life. Isn't that nice? Real life. So we'll look at 3 or 4 things. The first one we're going to look at is sale price and discount. You know what it means for something to be on sale, right? If something's on sale, then it lowers the price of an item. We say it's a sale or it's a discount, and then that lowers the price. And the new price, which is now lower because it's on sale, it's called the sale price. So if you were selling, I don't know, at your store you're selling jeans, and the jeans normally cost $82, but now they're on sale, and they're on sale for $60. Okay, that's usually how it is. But sometimes they'll express the sales percentages. They'll say something like a pair of pants. Oh, here we go. With my fascination with pants here. A pair of pants that normally cost $90 is on sale for 20% off. It doesn't tell you how many dollars off, it tells you a percent off. So what you need to do is you need to figure out what is 20% of 90. I mean, maybe even you want to write that question down. What is 20% of 90? So this is a percentage problem. Guess what we're going to use? We're going to use this right here. Percent over 100 equals part over whole, just like we did last video. So let's do that. Remember how we can start? You can always write fraction line equals fraction line. And what number can you always write? 100. So we're trying to find 20% of 90. So do we know the percent? Yes, I see the percent sign right there. So this 20 should go right up here. And this other number, this 90, is that the whole price of the pants, or is that just part of the price? That's the whole price. That's what they cost before there was any sale. So that's the whole amount. We put our 90 right down here. What do we put here? Put some letter. I'll put M. And we can cross multiply. By now you're probably getting pretty good at cross multiplying. Multiply those together and divide by this. So what do we have? We've got M equals 20 times 90. And then we're going to divide that by 100. Well, 20 times 90 is 1,800 divided by 100. You end up with 18. And we're talking about money, so it's $18. So, question for you. Is that the new price of the pants? No. Remember, it was 20% off, so that means it's $18 off the price. That's how much you're saving. You're saving $18. So the new question is, determine the sale price of the pants. Well, that's not too bad, right? They were $90. But now we're saving $18. We're taking off $18, which means the new price of the pants is $72. That's how much it costs. So it took 2 steps to get this answer. Can you think of how you could have gotten that answer in 1 step? You don't have to do it this way, but it's kind of nice if you can. If this was 20% off, what percent is left when you take off 20%? Let's think about this. A whole is 100%, we're taking off 20%, and you're left with 80%. So how you could have found out the price in 1 step is to find 80% of 90, and he would have given you this right here. Don't believe me? I'll do it super fast. I don't want this to take too long. So we can always put down 100. Do we know the percent? Yes, it's 80, so we put that there. We want to know 80% of 90. 90 is the whole. Call this n and cross multiply. That would be 80 times 90 divided by 100. 80 times 90 is 7,200 divided by 100. You get 72, just like we got right here. So saving 20% means you're left paying 80%. Saving 40% means you're left paying 60%. Always adds up to 100, right? Because that's how much the whole is. All right, that is sales and discounts. Next one I want to talk about are tips, also called gratuities. What's a tip? A tip is when you give some extra money for someone who provided you with service. And I put in brackets good, because ideally they did provide you with good service, and you'll probably give them more tip if they gave you good service. But actually in our culture, even if someone gave you okay service, you should still tip them. I mean, if it's flat out awful, then you do what you're going to do. But for the most part, we do tip certain people all the time. What sort of people do we tip? We tip people like servers, right? Waiters, waitresses, bartenders, that kind of thing. We tip people like barbers and hairdressers. We tip taxi drivers. We tip valet. I know you guys, when you're parking your cars and then someone runs out to park your car for you, I'm sure you tip the valet, right? There's all sorts of people that we tip. Oh, I know, tour guides. If you go on some kind of tour, we often tip those people. So we give them a percent. And it's different in different countries. Some countries it's actually rude to tip. If you were to tip, the person would be offended. Like, what, you don't think I can provide for myself? Take your money back. Other countries, they don't tip for taxis, but they do tip for restaurants, or vice versa. So it varies from country to country. Now, probably the most common one that you'll experience, well, I suppose the hairdressers and barbers, but also servers. When you go out for a meal, if you have a server, that you should tip them. And a very, very safe tip is 15%. If you leave 15%, no waiter or waitress can complain. If you go lower than 10, you're going to get nasty looks. If you leave 15, they're going to be happy with you. You leave 20, you're a hero. They're carrying you throughout the restaurant. Well, maybe not, but they will be very happy. So let's look at this question. Jerry pays $18 for lunch. How much money should he leave to make a $15% tip? If he wants to leave a 15% tip. Well, basically, we need to figure out then what's 15% of 18, right? Lunch was $18, and he wants to leave a 15% tip. So we got to figure out what's 15% of 18. Hey, it's a percent question, and we can always put 100. Do we have a percent? Yep, right there. We want to know 15%. 15% of 18. Is 18 the whole amount or just part? That's the whole amount. That's how much you're tipping on. That's the whole amount you're tipping on. I'll put n in here, and we cross multiply. N equals 15 times 18, and then divide it by 100. Well, 15 times 18 is 270, and we divide it by 100, so you get 2.7. But come on, we're talking about money. So you're going to put a dollar sign in front, and you're going to put a 0 here, $2.70. That's one time when you should really put the 0 there, because we're talking about money. So this is our answer. Now, my question is kind of hard to figure out what I'm asking. If I'm asking how much should I leave for the tip, there's my answer. You should leave $2.70 in order to pay a 15% tip. If my question means how much total should I leave, well, I better pay for my lunch. I better pay for the $18 lunch, plus I better pay for the $2.70 tip, so I end up paying $20.70. I'm not sure what the question was actually asking here, so I'll write both of them down. Got to be safe, right? Okay, if dinner cost you $28.50 and you leave $3.50 as your tip, what percent was the tip you left? So let's say your dinner cost $28.50, you leave $3.50, and as you're leaving, the waiter gives you this funny look, and you're like, are they mad at me? Or were they happy? What kind of tip did I leave? Was that a good tip or not? You want to know. All right, well, let's figure it out. We want to know the percent. Do we know the percent right now? No, we don't know the percent. That's what we want to know. We want to know the percent. So this is your M. You got to find the percent. Now, which one's the whole and which one's the part? Well, the whole cost of the dinner was $28.50, and the part you're leaving as a tip is $3.50. So we got to figure this out. Cross multiply. M equals 100 times 350 divided by 28.50. M equals 100 times 3.5 is 350 divided by 28.50. And if you divide that, you end up with 12.3. And remember, this is a percent, 12.3%. So why is that person looking at you, that waiter? I guess they're a little disappointed with your tip. It's not a wonderful tip, but it's not horrible. You can stare right back at them and say, well, maybe if you were a little bit better with your service, I would have given you a little more cash. But don't be too rude. All right, moving on. Next is tax. Tax. What's that all about? Well, that's money that you pay the government when you buy certain goods and services, right? You go out and you buy a movie ticket or lunch or a game for your Nintendo or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, you often pay money to the government. What do they do with it? They pay for things like roads, hospitals, tunnels, bridges, teachers' salaries. Very, very important. Okay, so your money isn't wasted or anything. You should pay tax. It is important for a well-functioning country. Now, in Canada, there's two types in BC, two types of sales tax. I'm specifically talking about sales tax here, not income tax. sales tax. These are taxes you pay when you purchase things. So there's two types of sales tax in BC. One's called the GST, also the goods and services tax, right? That's what GST stands for. And it's 5%. That's paid in every province in Canada. They have to pay that. Number two is the PST, the provincial sales tax. And in British Columbia, it's 7%. Now some places, they don't pay that. Like in Alberta, they only pay the 5% and that's it. And the Northern Territories is the same thing. So ours together, obviously, it adds up to 5 plus 7, 12%. Other places go as high as 15% in Canada. So let's look at the first question. A new book costs $28.50. Calculate the total tax. So one way you could do this is you could figure out the GST, 5% of $28.50. Figure out the PST, 7% of $28.50, and then add those amounts together. But why don't you just do it this way? Add the percentages together and get 12%, and now find 12% of $28.50, and you'll have your total tax. I think that's going to be faster. Let's do it. So it's a percent question. You can always start by doing this. Do you know the percent? Yep, it's right here. It's 12%. This $28.50, is that the whole cost of the book or just part? That's the whole cost of the book, $28.50. And this is what we need to find. So we cross multiply. N equals 12 times $28.50 and then divided by 100. 12 times $28.50 is 342, and we'll divide that by 100. You get $3.42 of tax. Then the question says, calculate the total cost of the book, including taxes. Well, it was $28.50, and now we're paying an extra $3.42. We've got to pay that as well. So if we add those together, we'll get $31.92. Hey, I have a question for you again. We did that in 2 steps. Can you think of how you would have gotten this $31.92 in 1 step? Well, this $28.50 was what percent of $28.50? I know that's ridiculous, but $28.50 is what percent of $28.50? That is 100%. We basically paid 100%, and then this 342 was what percent? That was 12%. So we're basically paying 100% plus the 12% for a total of 112%. So what you could have done to do this in 1 step is to find 112% of $28.50. Again, let me do it super fast. Put 100 down. The percent is 112. Our whole amount of the book is $28.50, and now cross multiply. 112 times $28.50 divided by 100, you get $31.92. Did it in 1 step. Okay, a few last ones here. John's weekly pay went from $5.50 to $5.95. What's the percent increase? So you will see a lot of questions about percent increase and the percent decrease. And the first thing you want to look at is, what was the change from the original to the new? So our original pay, or John's original pay, was $5.50. This was the original, right? And this was the new pay once it went up. So the first thing you want to do is figure out, well, what's the change? How much change was there? The change ended up at $5.95, and it started at $5.50. If we subtract those, you get the amount of change. The amount of change is $45. So to get the percent increase, you want to know what percent is 45, the amount change, out of the original. Always compare it to the original, not the new. So we want to know what percent is 45 out of 550. Oh, well now it's not too bad. Once you know what the question's asking, it's not too bad. Put down your 100. Do you have a percent? No, we have $2 amounts. We don't know the percent, so that's my unknown. What's the whole amount, 550 or 45? The whole is the 550 that he started with, and we want to know out of that whole, how much is 45? What percent is 45? So 45's our part. So we can do this. We can cross multiply here. So we've got m equals 45 times 100 and then divided by 550. 45 times 100 is 4,500 and divided by 550. And the percentage is 8.18%. So his wage was increased by 8.18%. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite. He's going to reduce the pay. Jerry's weekly pay was reduced by 10%. Poor Jerry. If her new pay is $490, then what was her old pay? Okay, now this is a very tricky question actually. If her pay was reduced by 10% and now it's this much, what percentage does this represent then of the whole? Say the whole was the original, right? The original pay, which was obviously more than $490 because it's been reduced down to $490. The original is the whole. Think of that as the whole. So this $490 is less than the whole. How much less than the whole? 10%. Well, what percent is a whole always? A whole is 100%. And this right here then is 10% less than 100. This is 90%. So do you see what this is asking? This is saying if 490 is 90%, then what's the whole? We have to figure out how much is this original or this whole, or 100% if this amount here is 90%. This is like that type 3 question that people often get mixed up by. So you put the 100 down. Do you know the percent? Yes, it's 90%. It's not 10%. It's been reduced by 10, which leaves you with 90%. So this is 90. Now this 490, is that the whole? No. Remember, we're trying to find the whole. This is the part. So this goes on top. And this is what you're trying to find. So M equals 100 times 490. And then you're going to divide that by your 90 here. So M equals 100 times 490 is 49,000, and you're divided by 90. Remember, it should be more than 490 now. Our answer should be a little more than 490 because it's been reduced to 490. And I get $544.44, which seems reasonable. Mind you, it doesn't seem fair to Jerry. She's a great worker. All right, that's it, everyone. Some common percent problems. You can see we can solve them all using that same old proportion that we were talking about before. This one right here. So use it wisely and let me know if you need any help. Take care. Bye.